means to manipulate. That means to coerce. That means to figure out a way to get it done, right? Isn't that what the word make means? It wasn't like, hey, if you get a chance, why don't you tell them about me? It said, no, make disciples. And so I was thinking, that just doesn't make sense. And so I was looking at the Greek word, and I'm not very good at Greek words, but it's the word mathiteuo. Okay, say it faster, but it doesn't do any good if I say it any faster. And here's what the word means, okay? It means to teach, to instruct, to show. So let's go back and look at the scripture again. God says to go, or Christ says to go and teach people, to instruct people, to show people how to be disciples. Well, okay, that's good. That makes more sense. I can go with that. Okay, so God, you're not telling me my goal is to save people. No, you're saying my goal was to go and teach, show, and instruct people how to be disciples. I get that. Okay, well, what does it mean to be a disciple? And so I was thinking, okay, how do you define it? Obviously, to be Christ-like. But I think what it is to help people in their relationship with one another, to help people grow in love towards each other and grow in love towards God. I get that. Right? You get that? And, it says that people will know that you're my disciples. That's what Jesus says to us, by the way that you love. So I get that. Someone comes up to Jesus and says, hey, what's the most important commandment? This is what he says. He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. So if God says that we're not supposed to save people, that's not what we're supposed to do. If we're supposed to love people, I get it. And so I was so relieved. I'm like, you know what? Here we go. Nice, pretty, packaged message. Boys and girls, your responsibility is not to save people, okay? Your responsibility is this. Your responsibility is to love God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and all your strength. Your responsibility is to love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. We got it. The interesting thing, though, isn't that pretty ambiguous? I mean, it would be nice if it were that simple, if it were just packaged and that would be the end of it. Hey, love God, love your neighbor. That's the greatest commandment. We see it. You see it on the back of bumper stickers. There's a big movement in the church. A lot of different college groups in the world now say that, love God, love people. That's like the slogan of this generation. People have the shirts that says LGLP. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. We got it, it's the thing. Obviously, okay, God, we're not supposed to save people. Maybe it was the last generation who thought that their value and all those different things came from creating these quotas and meeting them and showing and counting numbers. Not that numbers are wrong, because numbers do represent souls and lives change, which is incredible. I'm not saying anything against that. That's really, really awesome. But if it's God doing it and not people doing it, because if people do it, it's not real. It's not real. But God says, look, you can't save people. That's my job. I'm the one who died on the cross. You weren't perfect. You can't die on the cross. And if you could, you wouldn't have anyway, because you're a sissy. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. So it's not something you're going to do. So you don't have the capability of saving people. You don't have the capability of keep delivering them from judgment or saving them from danger or destruction. You don't have that ability. So what God says is love God, love people. And that'd be nice if we could figure out what that is. But here's the deal. There's people who stand outside with signs, hold them up, at a concert of maybe the Indigo Girls or some band that gay people that like, or that someone in the band is gay or homosexual or whatever word is politically correct or not correct or any of those things. And they hold the signs. You know what they say, right? God hates fags. That's what they say. And here's the deal, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And if you've ever held up on those signs, I'm sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Okay, I don't want to fight, but it's just truth. That's not right. Nothing about that's right. And they held the sign that says, God hates fags, and they just hold them up, right? And here's the crazy thing. The honest truth is, I've actually seen a video. We showed one last year. I really think their hearts are pure. Isn't that crazy? Like to stand on the outside and think, there is no way. How about the guy who bombs the abortion clinics? Nuts. But I really honestly, with everything I am, think their heart's pure. And guess what? They're saying to God, I love you so much, I'm going to stand up for truth. God, I love those people's souls so much. I'm gonna keep their souls out of hell. And so I'm going to tell them what's real so they can turn to you and repent. You see, that's the problem. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't love God and love people, because we should. But the statement love God, love people is pretty gray, pretty ambiguous. Because the word love means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And some people, you've seen, 10 Things I Hate About You, and there's like a little Valley girl that says, well, I love my Skechers, and I love my Prada book bag, or, you remember the statement we've talked about before that, man, I love Cheerios, and you know what the person next to you in elementary school said. Well, if you love them, why don't you marry them, right? The whole concept of love is just such a strange word. We've just pretty much diluted and screwed the word up. So we can't just say, okay, our job as a Christian God is to love God and love people. Just to confess with you, it's probably been, several months ago, maybe even up to a year ago. I can remember a conversation that Julie and I were having at our house, and it was more of an argument. It was an argument. That's exactly what it was. There wasn't more than. It was a pretty, I don't know what magnitude, or a pretty big deal, and not a good thing. And we're arguing, and I don't remember how it happens. I'm sure that I was being emotional and hormonal, which that's what I am. And I'm not even being funny. Like, I'm not trying to trade places with Julie. They're like, she's the girl. He's taking shots. No, I'm the sissy. Honest truth. Not joking at all. I know that's tough for you to believe. Look at me. I'm wearing pink, and I look tough in it, right? Especially without the socks on. I think that's a good addition to the toughness look. But anyway, they actually have heels, and when I walk, they make kind of the wood clicking sound like the scary teacher in school that was a class you hated when you hadn't studied. Actually, that may be the class that you would have liked because you could have heard. Anyway, so we're having this conversation, and we're talking, and we're fighting, and it went something like this. I said, well, I don't really feel loved. Sometimes I don't feel loved, which is probably more of my inadequacies, some of my insecurities, all those things. And I was like, I don't think that you show me love, Julie. This is a real conversation we're having, which is pretty awkward for me to sit here and tell it to you, right? And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, you just don't. And then she looked at me, and she started rattling off thing after thing. And I'm talking about 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 things. After thing, after ding, after thing, after thing, after thing. And said, I do all these things, I do all these things, I do all these things, and you don't get it. And then she said, what the? I'm just joking. That was so funny. She said, well, Josh, what do you want? What do you want then? If that's not what works for you, Josh, what do you want? And then I'd explain, well, this is actually what I want. She's like, well, I'll do that then. I won't waste my time with all this other junk. That's what I'll do. And I wonder if all these people holding up their signs and doing so many different things and picketing and screaming and all these different things, and they really believe that they're honoring God. And one of these days they're going to sit before God, and they're going to be like, I just didn't get it, did I? The story in the Old Testament found in Micah chapter 6. And here's a cool thing. Micah is a prophet, and we're going to get the words up on the screen for you. So I just want you to pay attention to this. But Micah is a prophet, and Micah's pretty much come to the people of Israel. And Micah said, God's not happy with you. He's not. And the Israelites are a little confused. They're like, wait, I thought things were good, right? Didn't know. I thought I was enjoying life. Life was good. Didn't really realize it was a problem. And Micah's like, that's why I'm the prophet. I'm going to let you know. And so Micah, and kind of sets it up in a pretty cool way, which I'm like, man, that's pretty creative. Micah starts explaining this to the children of Israel. Maybe it was set up like this, and with the microphone and the TVs up there or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how it worked. Maybe there was technology. I'm not sure. I don't understand. Y'all might understand hieroglyphics, which I think is some ancient form of Egyptian. Is that right? I took that in 6th grade, and I also pierced my ear in that 6th grade class. But this girl named Brandy Stevens, she always had a runny nose, but she was the great niece of Alexander H. Stevens, who apparently was some Confederate war hero, or maybe not. But she always had a runny nose, and she had this big hoop, and I stuck it in my ear all the way through, except for, if you've ever pierced your ear, the back part of it's hard to get through, and it just started bleeding all over the place. And Miss Carol had to send me to the bathroom, and I had to hold it the whole time, and then it got really nasty infected. But that's learned about hieroglyphics there. Pretty cool, huh? But anyway, so that people